Okay, Volume 6 of the Bible Story by Arthur S Maxwell. My This is the sixth book in the set. This is my set that I have, these 70-year-old books. And we are at, and if you're still following, continuing with this, I'm at Part 1, Story 6, The Golden Idol. What's this? Okay. That dream of the metallic image made a great impression on Nebuchadnezzar. For though at first he couldn't remember it, after Daniel had brought it back to his mind and explained its meaning, he couldn't think of anything else. But there was only one thing about it he didn't like. It was suggested that his great empire would play someday give place to another. He wondered whether that had to be. Perhaps if he made Babylon strong enough, he could stop anything like that from happening. Then he had a bright idea. He would make an image like the one he had seen in his dream, but of one metal, not several, to show that his kingdom would last forever. Not just a head would be made of gold, but the entire body, arms, legs, feet, toes, everything. So he gave orders for the work to be carried out, and what a gigantic image it was. When completed, it stood about, and page, 100 feet tall. Whoa. Including its pedestal. And so it'd be about almost the size of the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, I'm guessing now. Okay, but I would say about that. I think the Statue of Liberty is taller than the Washington Monument. So it'd be be about the height of the Washington Monument or the Statue of Liberty. But it would be made of solid gold, and it has a pedestal. Okay, let me get back. 100 feet tall, including its pedestal, and while the width at the shoulders was more than 10 feet. Imagine it. It was all gold. Crowds came to gather to watch the great gleaming idol as carried out of the city and set up in the midst of the plains of Dura. D-U-R-A, Dura. Soldiers no doubt went along to guard it and see that thieves didn't break off its great toes at night. Everybody wondered what the king planned to do with this so huge an image in such a place. But they did not have long to wait to find out. Sorry, I got the robot voice going. Alright, soon word spread everywhere that Nebuchadnezzar had sent messengers throughout the whole Babylonian Empire, commanding the prince, the governors, and the captains, and the judges, and the treasurers. Wait, it doesn't have the hands in. And the counselors, the sheriffs, and the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of this image. One and all they came, and a great sight it must have been, as all these important officials, each with his train of servants, began to arrive in the capital. When the day of dedication arrived, tens of thousands gathered in the plains of Dura, men and women, boys and girls, some, no doubt, camped out all the previous night to get a place with a good view. Others started coming at early dawn, bringing their lunches with them. Everyone was excited, especially the children, for wasn't the king himself going to show and the royal band preparing the music? More and more people arrived. The crowd became thicker and thicker, especially towards the center, where the great golden image towered above all. Suddenly a hush fell over the mighty throng. A richly dressed herald began to speak. Slowly, in a loud, clear voice, he cried, "To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and tongues, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut," I don't know what a sackbut is. Might be a drum. Palmsary, guitar. Dulcimer, that's a kind of like a xylophone. And all kinds of music with a K. Ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. Whew. Then he added this warning: Whosoever falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Then the band began to play. Just what sort of tune came out of the cornets, flutes, harps, sackbuts, palmsary, and other musical instruments we're not told, but was a sound rolled. But as the sound rolled, okay, hold on. Let me show this image before I start that. I'm still picking it up, putting it up, standing it up. See, it's got the ropes on it. Okay. But as the sound rolled out over the plain, the people with one accord fell on their faces before the image. Nebuchadnezzar, looking over the amazing scene of from his royal throne, felt very pleased with himself. This was just what he planned. Everybody bowing down to his image. No, no, his empire could never pass away, not with such obedience as this. And a little torch, touch of the fiery furnace to help things along. In other words, just saying it, they're going to be in the fiery furnace. And them things are hot. Even these little ones they got for the glass furnace is hot. Okay. His contentment did not last long, however, for far out in the kneeling crowd, he noticed a disturbance. Some people were actually standing. Yes, standing. What's the matter? He demanded of those about him. It's Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, your majesty, and said his Chaldean counselor. You know those 3 young Hebrews you promoted not long ago. They refused to bow down to your golden image. What? said Nebuchadnezzar in rage. "Bring them here, and I'll teach them to disobey me." Soldiers brought the three young men through the crowd while everybody looked up to see what was going on. Quickly news spread. Voices buzzed. "Did you see that?" one said to another. "Three young men refused to bow to the golden idol. They've been arrested and taken before the king. Whatever will happen to them?" By this time, the people were far more interested in the three young Hebrews than ever. Than ever, they had been in the image. Yeah, the dedication was completely spoiled. And then it has a two-pager down at the bottom, and them standing. That's what it looked like, or suggested it looked like. And guess what? That was the end of part 1, story 6. So we have to break, and then we'll start on the next one. Be back in a minute.